How's it going, guys? My name is F.Cavone. I am a videographer, photographer. I do a lot of digital marketing, and I currently run two companies, one of them being F.Cavone Productions. F.Cavone Productions is a digital media company where we specialize in servicing video production services and photography services to businesses around the capital region, live bands, and literally so much more. There's a lot that we do under the hood of the whole thing. And then another company that I do play a big role in is called Mirth Films. Mirth Films is a news and media outlet where we specialize in original video production, live music coverage. We do live streaming. We have a podcast on iTunes and Spotify called the Kinda Live, Kinda Living podcast that we do each and every single week that also airs live on YouTube. And but the digital media field is an ever-growing field that is just going to get more and more busier each and every year. More and more jobs open up every single year in this field because more things are happening online. And just to jump back, just to give you guys a little just description of what I do and how I got to where I am standing here today. Video production, using a video camera, making movies was something that I always wanted to do when I was a kid. It was a hobby first before I wanted to do this as a job. So 6 years old, I used my mom's video camera just to film my friends skateboarding around Colony, Schenectady area, just getting tricks with the video, this crappy video camera that we would use, and it was just a lot of fun. And down the road, years later in high school, I realized that this is something I definitely wanted to do. Similar to the classes that you guys have that are offered here, like photography and digital and TV production. I didn't have something like that, but we had a class called sound design taught by a lovely lady up in Lake George, New York. And she kind of really developed my interest even more and saw that this was something I really wanted to do. So I was like,
good morning, High School. Now having a hall sweep. All students out of pass report to the cafeteria.
So this was something that I was like, okay, I could see myself doing this for the rest of my life. And I didn't know exactly how to go about it, and with the help of the counselors in my high school and just research from family, decided, okay, you know what, let's give this another shot. Let's give this a real shot. Went to Hudson Valley Community College for a couple of years, figured out that, okay, with Hudson Valley, with and later on going to school at SUNY Plattsburgh, this is something that I mean is big in this area. There's a lot of people who are actively doing it, and but there's still enough room where I could do this myself here. And with that, sorry guys, I lost my train of thought here. But with that, I was like, okay, I'm going to take the connections that I have here at Plattsburgh and at Hudson Valley and use it to my benefit to then get jobs later down the road, which definitely helps with finding jobs, not only starting a business. And that is, the cool thing is with this, you could go two different options. You don't just have to be a 9 to 5 or where you're sitting at a desk every single day of the week, just you know, sitting there 8 hours a day trying to fill your time up. This is something you could also do on your own. You could start a full business. You can control your own schedule. You can wake up anytime you want to, as long as you're paying the bills by doing the job that you're doing. It's a lot of work, but the payoff is a lot of fun. You get to work, or you know, it's like, I don't know, if you aspire to, if you love sports, but maybe you know you weren't the best athlete in the world. There's video jobs where you're working for ESPN with some of the biggest names in the book. You could really go any direction. And what really caught my eye with what I'm doing today, at least, is live music is a huge passion of mine. It's a hobby to go out and shoot concert photography at local venues like SPAC, Times Union Center, even Madison Square Garden. That was the avenue I decided to go down, and I saw that, okay, not only is this possible, but I can make money and support myself by doing it. Graduating college, my first job out of school was I was an audio operator and worked in Spectrum News, working with live talent like Jody Kenny and Julie Chapman, people that you see on News Channel 9, or 1, whatever it is now. After doing that for a while, I was working, you know, when you first start off in this industry, you're not always going to have the hours you want. I was working midnight to 9 a.m. I was going to bed at 3 p.m. every day. And I knew that that wasn't the avenue I wanted to go down. And that's where, because of how many different things you can do in this field, you could really call your shots in different ways. So after that, I worked for 2 years as head of video production at a mortgage company here in Albany. It was fun. I got to produce a couple Super Bowl commercials and just to do a few other things, which actually are on the website as well. But I knew that I wanted to run my own business. I knew I wanted to call my own shots. So that's where I was like, during this whole time of trying to figure out what I wanted to do, I always tried to stay busy, even though I already had a job. So if it was, I was working midnight to 9 a.m. at the news station, through the hours of from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. I was spending that time creating original video pieces, doing whatever I could to get myself out of that situation because I wanted to get somewhere and do something different. And during that whole process, kept on doing, I guess, odd jobs on the off time, and to where I was able to then leave my job. And last year, I was able to leave my job in April, and with the clients that I have, I'm able to fully support myself doing video production and running a business. But, you know, there's definitely important steps that have to happen if you want to go down this process, or at least work in this field. And there is so many different job opportunities you could have. But I'm going to start with the question. What's your name, man?
Joseph.
Joseph. What's up?
Do you travel places?
Yeah. So I do actually. I've been traveling a lot. I just got back from San Francisco last week. Weeks before that, during Valentine's Day, I had a band, national touring band, hired me to do their video production for a couple concerts. So I was up in Maine. I was working here locally at the Palace Theater. But I mean, last year I was in maybe 8 different states, from South Carolina, Vermont, Delaware. I'm trying to think where else. I was up in Toronto actually. But it's a lot of traveling, but that's also a cool thing because you're not doing the same thing every day. But you had a question?
Like, when did you have like a job like after you left high school? Like, did you do music production as soon as you left high school, or did you have something else before that before you decided you wanted to?
So in high school, I didn't have it. I didn't have anything else regarding this. It was schooling that helped me get at least to the path that led me here. But I guess what I was doing to prepare myself prior to going to school was just being a skateboarder at a young age. You know, you have your group of friends that you're all hanging out with. You know, you all listen to the same music. You are vibing to the same thing. With skateboarding, I was not the best skateboarder, which was probably a good thing. I was a cameraman for my friends, and that gave me the practical experience to edit videos, to put together video, to shoot the videos, and to conceptualize a video, which was, I mean, it was really cool. But
And then also, like, did you end up going to college? Like, did you need any college classes for your job, or did you just do it? Like, did you start as soon as you left high school?
so I did. For this field, you don't need a college education. It's recommended. I recommend it because you're going to get connections through it, and I mean, having an internship, which you can get through going to college or going through a trade school, is a super important thing to your career because, for example, the internship that I did through college, I was working for Good Morning America, I was working at Sports Center, I got to do a World Cup game, and without that internship, I probably would have never seen how big this world is in this industry, and it influenced me to want to keep on doing it. So, no, you don't need a college education, but it's, to me, I would recommend it because you're going to learn a lot more faster too. and then you get to be it just helps you be that much better at what you do too. But
Instead of like only just shooting the videos, did you also edit the videos too?
correct. So when you're first starting out, you know, you're gonna find yourself doing a lot of everything. A lot of shooting, a lot of making sure the sound for the video is good. Sound is half the battle, it's so important. And then editing as well. And with editing, you, like, for example, I mean, I didn't have the best computer when I was a kid. I mean, I don't think any, you know, when you're young, you have what you have, so you utilize what you have. So, you know, Windows Movie Maker, iMovie, the smallest movie-making programs are available and ready on all these computers that you buy, or that may already be in your home or on your cell phone. Yeah, I mean, I would say you're doing a lot of everything at first, but when you grow into the field, you'll find what you really like. That's where this field is really cool, because not only are you doing just the shooting, just the editing, but you have a person designing the costumes that are going to be worn in these movies. You have people doing makeup to making sure they look all right on camera. People doing sound to making sure, like I said, make sure it sounds correct, or even designing the set, or scheduling the time to do these things. There is literally like 30 different jobs just for video production, and it's pretty well balanced.
So like, do you have like your own like company and or not, and like how do you promote yourself?
So I actually do. I own two of my own companies. One company, F.Cavone Productions, that's this company right here. I do a lot of this company specifically is for businesses to build their online presence. So a business will call me up, like, let's give for a quick example, these guys, Maxwell Home Inspections, local business here right in Albany. Is a company that I work with closely. What I do a lot with them is I help them build their online presence. They want to become a bigger company online, market better to their customers. They're going to hire somebody like me to then come in and film them doing some type of online marketing video so they can promote on their Facebook, Instagram, stuff like that. But how do you promote yourself, you're asking? Well, that's really important, and honestly, it's probably just as important as the business that you do every day in this field. Because if you don't look like you're busy, you're going to be, I don't know, people are not going to hire you because they're going to think, oh, this guy's not doing it that much. I want a guy who is out there every single day in the field, and is you know, looks like he's experienced somewhat, and that's where when I don't have jobs, like I'll to be honest, I probably spend a little over 40 hours a week on my business, which is, you know, average 40 hours a week what you would work at a 9 to 5. But there's other weeks where I'm working 60 hours, 65, but it's not bad work because it's something, I mean, it's, if you enjoy it, it's really not work at all. But on the weeks or the months where it's, okay, it's December, Christmas season, not a lot of things going on, not a lot of businesses wanting to promote because it's holiday time. What's the point, right? So I started up a second company called Mirth Films. Mirth Films is a passion project. Excuse me, passion project that I started with my buddies, and with Mirth Films, it gives us the opportunity to create and have fun. So like if we want to do like sketch comedy pieces or whatever, make some funny video, we can do it there and not have to worry about taking a risk, and we're staying busy too. So it's super important to promote yourself, and the best way to do that is Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, you know, your cell phone is the best marketing tool you could use to promote yourself.
And I have like, when do you give them, like, do you give the people when they hire you like a price that you'll make something? Do they like give you like a price, or do you guys like negotiate it?
It usually comes to negotiation. So when it comes to a job, as somebody's called, like let me put it this way: I have my set rates. Like if somebody asks me, I want this, how much will it cost? I would then tell them this is how much I charge. but there are times where you have to work in a budget from the other side. So it could be, you could be negotiating to make something work, because at the end of the day, yeah, you want to make as much money as you can. But at the same time, you want to keep that client for the rest of your life. So that's where sometimes by taking a couple bucks off the price, it's going to keep them longer. And with that, and you know, running a full-time business, if you don't have those clients, you don't have a job. So by working and cutting costs sometimes and negotiating, it could, as a business owner or as somebody in the field, if you want to continue working with this person, could benefit you.
What is something very, very unique to your job, unlike any other jobs?
Something very, very unique to my job compared to any other jobs. Well, when I'm not out shooting in the field, I get to work from home. I literally get to just sit back, relax in my own environment, and just, I don't have to drive anywhere to go to work. I could just literally, I could take all the time I want in the day to relax, to then even just go back to doing my job right from the comfort of my own home. That's very unique, and it's like I said, a perk of running a business or just even being a video editor. Programs that are actually used in the school here at Schenectady, Adobe software, specifically in video production. Adobe Premiere is a huge program. A lot of these programs now allow you to work remotely from home, from any location. So no matter what computer or where you're using the computer, you can work on that same project wherever you are. And but when you're shooting, I mean, the most unique thing to me about what I do is there's bands that I grew up listening to or musical acts that I love that I never thought in a million years I would be able to work for. And I mean, I'm definitely super thankful of what I've been able to do, but it's a blessing. It's really a lot of fun.
Wait, do you work every day of the week for like a couple hours, or do you like only work some days in the week? And when you're sick, do you like not do work, or do you still do it?
I guess it depends. So working every single day of the week, when you're depends. If you're working for somebody, like let's say you were working for Major League Baseball, you may only be working for the games that are actually being played, and that time that is over, when the game's over, you're done. So because of the trade itself, of being able to do a skill like that, you're getting a lot more money for what you're doing, and you could work 4 hours a day for 8 hours pay, which is really cool. Do I work every day? Yes, I do. Life is not all about work, but in the growing, I'm maybe 4 years into my business now, overall, since I started doing it part-time, and I mean, if you want it to get bigger, absolutely, you're going to find yourself working every day. But like, I mean, I was away in California for a week on vacation, and so like you do get the perks of just being able to just drop everything and just go and do what you want.
Do you like when you have multiple projects to get finished, do you work on them all, or like at like kind of like the same time? Do you have like them on like a queue?
Yeah, kind of like a queue actually. So when I am like, for example, like this week I have right now probably like 6 open projects. As long as you're working with your deadlines, like some people are going to want videos come the day after you do them. Other people don't mind waiting. So it's really just judging what you're doing.
Charlie, unexcused.
It's really just judging like what you're doing and like how you know, I don't know, the pressure of what's to come with these deadlines. And but I don't know. It's really, but when you're working for yourself, you really do call your own shots. So if you're the type of person who doesn't want to have a bunch of deadlines to have at the end of the day, you know, you can pace yourself with what you're doing.
One of the questions that we also asked was, when you're sick, do you work while you're sick?
When you're sick, I mean, it depends. If I'm like super sick to the point where I'm gonna get the people that are paying me to do the video sick, I will cancel it, or I'll give them a heads up. Hey, this is how I'm feeling, because you know, when you're working with people, you can't just call out sick all the time, because if they have their own schedule and they're just as busy and you don't meet to their terms, you could lose that client. And you know, for some clients, depending on the size, that's like a couple $1,000 a month, you know, that's a lot of money. And, but that's why, like, you know, hopefully, you know, like, you gotta take care of yourself, but, you know, stuff like that is going to happen. So if you're sick, you're sick. What are you gonna do, you know? But if it's one of those days where you're working from home, you know, just take some medicine, unfortunately, you know, tough it out and get the video done. But usually if you're reasonable, people are gonna understand, you know, so.
How much are you buying equipment?
Overall, I would say total of what I've spent on my equipment since day one, I probably spent about $30,000, but it wasn't like $30,000 that just dropped right then and there.
It was like over a duration of time.
Over time, yeah, and then like you buy gear, you sell gear, you know, you're not always paying top dollar for that gear, but it's expensive and you gotta work up to the cameras that you're owning. You don't just start with an $80,000 camera. And that's why I really encourage people, just like go out with your cell phone. Like, I mean, for Instagram, like iPhone's pretty good for pictures, Android's pretty good for pictures. Same with video. Like, I can honestly say I've shot a full video and edited a full video on my cell phone, and it's possible.
Do people like send you videos for you to edit them, or do you go out like go out to like concerts and stuff, record them, and then edit them yourself?
Depends. I've had situations where I have been doing all the editing from just from footage that people have given me, but I would say 90% of the time I'm going out and shooting and editing stuff. So, for example, the Valentine's Day weekend, there's a band called Twiddle that's pretty popular in like the rock scene, I guess. They're coming up, but they're playing theater-sized places like the Palace Theater now, and they were a small band, but they brought me on tour a couple weekends ago, and a situation like that, I was running 8 cameras by myself, and then editing all the footage after too. So, I mean, there are situations where I'll hire somebody out to help me because, I mean, working with the team is so important, like, because it's less work on your shoulders, less room for error, and it's just awesome. And, but yeah, so like a job like that, I worked for 2 days, I shot live concerts, and then after I did that, I had to go home. I had about 2,000 gigabytes worth of footage that I was sitting on from these concerts, and I had to put them together. And so I've spent maybe 4 days like editing the stuff too. So yeah, you're editing your own stuff a lot of the times. Let's switch up.
2,000 gigabytes?
2,000 gigabytes, and that's no joke.
So like
When you're shooting
2 terabytes?
2 terabytes. When you're shooting 4K footage, you're dealing with a lot. And that's where, you know, making sure you're backing up hard drives, you have a place to store these things is really important, because when you're shooting 2 terabytes of footage, you're not getting 2 terabytes of footage on a computer. I mean, you must have, you know, unless you have like 7 hard drives in that computer, it's probably not, it's probably highly unlikely, so having extra hard drives for the space is very important. And that's a lot of footage to process, too.
I was just about to ask, like, do you have like an editing team or like a recording team, like a group of people that you work with?
Yes, I have no one that's working part time for me, but I have people from job to job that I'll hire that I'll be able to bring on when I need help. So they're more contracted through me, so I'll pay them an X amount of dollars to help me run camera for this amount of time, because I mean, you can't be everywhere all at once. So, but, yeah, I mean, I'll hire people from time to time.
On the business side of things, is it hard or easy to manage work and business and why?
Oh, I would say one of the hardest things I've learned is in the business aspect is customer service. Being able to run things, because you know, you think when you first start, okay, I'm only going to be putting together the videos and shooting the videos. gonna be fun. And then you realize, well, I gotta talk to these people, I gotta schedule these things, I have to make sure that I'm getting back to people promptly, and that is a learning curve. I mean, I find it more stressful having to do those things than doing, you know, an 8-camera video shoot where I'm running around like a moron and trying to get all these cameras to work. You know, you gotta find balance, and that's where like maybe setting some hours aside during the day is really good. Or even if you know you're going to be busy and you have a feeling people are going to call you and you don't want to miss out on that business, you know, doing the simplest things from setting up a proper voicemail on your phone to make so people know that you're not just dodging their calls, or just, you know, making sure you're getting back to them, explaining why you didn't answer, or just something to make them feel like that you didn't just ignore what their needs were, you know. But it's a lot of work. But I mean, it's probably, I mean, being able to have a product at the end of the day that you get to say you made, or that you got to work with a team and got the craft together, is probably one of the most fulfilling things. And that is also makes you just want to keep on doing it more.
Okay, can I just ask for that?
So this is the lead singer of this band called Cage the Elephant. Cage the Elephant, yeah, he's a wacky guy. He came out in a bunch of masks. This is actually taken at Saratoga Performing Arts Center up in Saratoga Springs. So where my other half of my life at Merck Films, what we do is we go and cover music. You know, I came to a point where it was like, okay, I'm going to see all these concerts. I want to be involved somehow. And I was like, okay, I have a video camera, and I mean, I have a photo camera that I could go take pictures of. And after a while, I ended up, I would now probably say I went from attending shows to probably shooting like 100 concerts a year.
You didn't know Taz was in this class, did you?
I did not.
I heard that.
You heard about
Taz,
it?
yeah.
Taz is one of the, I mean, personally, I hope he becomes one of the greatest living guitarists of all time. The guy is insane live. He's 16 years old.
Yeah.
This picture was taken when he was 15 years old. He started playing maybe 12 years old with the School of Rock, which is a theater show that happens in New York City. He slowly worked his way up, and you know, month by month, it seems like, and he's this kid that's played at Madison Square Garden, and he's a phenomenal guitarist that's probably going to be a huge success, more than he is already. Because like, there's people like this guy.
Speaking of
Twiddle, this is the lead guitarist of Twiddle. Taz will occasionally sit in with these guys, or he'll play music with some of the biggest and most legendary guitar players of all time. He's a miracle to the guitar scene, or rock and roll at least. But this is fun just because it's like, I don't know, I mean, I don't just shoot rock and roll, I shoot a wide variety of music, but literally any artist like that comes into town, we try to cover. Everybody from Cardi B to Cage the Elephant to bands like Fish, and I mean, the list goes on. We try to cover and give a fair interpretation of what the music scene is like here, not only in Albany, but we hope one day to be going national as well. So this is Sammy Garrett.
Okay. Oh, all right, Turquoise.
Turquoise.
Yeah.
Turquoise, she's an awesome female musician who plays in this funk band, singer in this funk band. And this actually takes place at a music festival in Burlington, Vermont called Tumble Down Music Festival. Music festivals are another vital thing to my job. This is actually East South Throwdown.
Throwdown. Yeah. Fly now.
Mr. Casano actually played this music festival himself. And but music festivals are in the summer are a huge thing to the music community. I'm just trying to think here. So this one specifically,
Pitches playing ping pong.
this is Pigeons playing ping pong, playing to a crowd at Adirondack Independence Music Festival. Adirondack Independence Music Festival is a festival that I'm in charge of all marketing for. So everything from the videos that you see promoting the festival before it happens, the live streams that will be happening during the festival, we're making sure photographers are getting taken care of, are getting fed. That's all happening through me. This is there's about 20 to 30 people who help, probably even more, that help run this music festival, that all play a huge, important role in making it run smooth. Everybody from the person hiring the bands to the security to people vending. It's a really cool festival that we've been able to build up, and now about 3,000 people attend each and every year. But my role in the festival is not only video production, not only photography, like I was saying. You know, I'm doing everything from inviting people on Facebook to come to this, you know, making graphics, working with other people on the marketing team, and making sure just that the event is being promoted properly, because without proper promotion, you could have an event flop, and that is the worst feeling in the world. But for the most part, I mean, I would say this music community here in Albany, New York, does a really good job at staying together to promote each other.
Yeah.
It's really nice.
It's a huge community.
So, but if you, let's say you want to get started doing video production today, right? You don't have to, well, you have a question first? Or? If you want to get started today, all you need, like I said, if you want to, the cell phone route is not the way you want to go. A simple camera can cost you anywhere $300, a tripod $50, and maybe a good microphone for $50. That's all you need. And then, you know, maybe one day you'll end up using a camera like this, the red digital cinema camera. This camera is a widely used camera in the movie industry, in high event production. This is a camera that you will be renting, not buying, because not only is this camera $80,000, but 5 years from now, that camera will be worth half the amount. And if you were to buy, unless you're a millionaire, like it wouldn't make any sense. So what a lot of people do is they rent out all this equipment to work these big gigs. Because if they didn't, I mean, they'd just be using like a small camera, and no one would probably take them seriously for that level of a job, and they're able to do it in the budget. So maybe this camera costs $2,000 to rent. $2,000 is a lot of money, but when you're getting paid $20,000 to do the job, $2,000 is nothing. You just made $18 from renting a camera.
Have you been able to work at the Coachella? And if so, what was your favorite?
I've never been able to work in Coachella. I wish. I hope one day, but I mean, there's people out there doing what I do at that level there, and probably traveling to tons of other festivals like Bonnaroo or other huge like Governor's Ball. Governor's Ball, I don't know if you guys know that one. I'll be working that festival this year actually. That is like what I don't know, East Coast Coachella they call it, but I don't know. Hopefully it's a good experience. But
Well, also like on the topic of Coachella, like Rolling Loud. Have you ever?
Rolling Loud Music Festival. They have that. Where is that? Mets Stadium or?
Oh yeah, I think so. I don't know.
Hip hop, right?
Yeah.
Hip hop based. That's something that like wouldn't. I mean, it's very attainable to be able to do. As music. Yeah, so they actually have 2 different sites. But like what Mirth Films would do, like let's say we wanted to be a part of Rolling Loud, right? We would go there as a news source. Because for us, we would get a press pass. The press pass would allow us to go up to the front of the stage to take pictures of all these acts, and then put it on our website, mirth-films.com, to then come up with an article and share a gallery of photos from the whole weekend. And we do that from time to time. And but so I guess what we would be doing regarding to that would be something like that. But I mean, I could swear that probably each one of those bands on that from the biggest ones to the smallest ones on the list, all have their own, either have their own videographers, photographers. So think about it, there's probably over 100 acts here. That means there's over 100 opportunities to work for 100 different groups. That's how much opportunity there is in the video production field, and that's just music. Like, I mean, there's so many different facets, and what you can do with this field, it's really incredible, and it's definitely a lot of fun too. Does anybody else have any other questions about it, the field, or?
You can skip me.
Yeah.
What's your most favorite music festival?
My most favorite music festival, that's a hard one, to be honest. My most favorite music festival that I've been to, I was up at Metallica. Metallica is a heavy metal band. I was up at a music festival in Montreal, not working it, but I was attending it, but it was a lot of fun. But a few years ago, when Metallica came to the Times Union Center, luckily I was able to photograph these guys. Seen them maybe 5 or 6 times, and that's where it's like when you do this a lot or do this enough, like, and like an opportunity like this comes along, it's like everything you worked for. I mean, I wouldn't say everything I worked for, like it was for this, but I mean,
And they don't come around here that much, so when they do, it's nice to be able to jump on it like tools. They never come around
Exactly.
here, you know?
yeah, and it's I don't know, it's like the circus coming to town almost. These guys are, mega millionaires, and getting the opportunity to photograph your heroes it's I don't know, gratifying for sure. But I would say the biggest festival I've worked, actually the biggest festival that I will be working is a festival coming up in July called the Peach Music Festival. Which, I would say it's kind of like a rock festival. I don't know how you would describe it, but it's a larger scale festival that definitely I'll be doing
Jam
a lot
rock, southern
of jam rock. Yeah.
What do you like to go on the
What's that?
road?
Gorillas? You would like to. I would love to see the Gorillas. I've never seen them. Have you seen them, or?
I've never seen them. I would like to.
Yeah, they're. I mean, that would definitely be a cool one to check off the bucket list.
Is this cool, like Scranton, like Susquehanna?
So this festival probably has like 30,000 a year. Would you say?
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
This one's actually really cool because it has like a built-in water park at the place too, and so it's called Montage Mountain. And but yeah, they have everything from a water park to just other fun things to do outside of just going to attend music, which is really awesome. But I would say like if this is something that really catches your eye, or really you think maybe you could do, maybe video production would be something you wanted to do down the road, definitely just don't wait for anybody to tell you to do it. Just go and have fun with it. It doesn't cost any money to go walk down the street and take some pictures, or I don't know, do any of you guys watch any vloggers on YouTube, or?
Yeah.
So those guys, all they do is, they could use a cell phone or just a digital camera, style camera, and I mean, it's as simple as that, the process. And people who are vlogging, some of them make millions of dollars doing that too, and they just do what they want to do with their normal lives.
Have you been able to work for like a Tool or like a regular Verizon?
No, I wish. That's like, and that's where, you're only going to get so much opportunity here in Albany. You're going to hit a barrier until then you have to start traveling out for stuff. And that's where if you think, okay, I want to give this my all, I have nothing to lose, move to a bigger city. New York City, LA, San Francisco, Atlanta, Miami, Chicago, all huge, big markets that are going to provide you these opportunities to get you the experience you need to get to that place. I will say, like, this area is very awesome. It's comfortable. There's a lot to offer. If you want to raise a family here in Albany, this is a great place to do it. If you want to grow a career, build an empire, go as far as you possibly can go. New York City is 3 hours down the road. I really suggest going, you know, giving it a shot.
What's the biggest event you've recorded?
Biggest event I've recorded? Probably this one right here it was a big event. This was a concert of like 2,500, and it was big to me because this was a band that I saw in 2012 played at 8 people, and now they play at 2 to 5,000 people a night, and that is it's a big thing. It's I don't know. I guess for the quality of work I've been able to produce, what I've been able to do with Twiddle, at least recently, for the couple shows that they did hire me for, it was just so much fun. So here's one famous venue that they play called Red Rocks Amphitheater. It's an all-natural amphitheater located in Morrison, Colorado. I mean, it's beautiful.
My chiropractor had her graduation at Red Rocks.
Did you really? Wow. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I gotta say, I as happy as I am with where I am today with what I do, and being able to just work for myself and, you know, pay the bills from the jobs that I was able to acquire, I still feel like there's so much more down the road. And that's the thing, it's such an ever-growing field that, I mean, literally, it's just, there's so many options and so many different avenues you can go down. And with that, I do recommend, if you do find a certain aspect of video production or digital media that you do like, stick to it. Having a niche is super important because the better you get at that one thing, people are going to know you for that one thing. And it's a big thing. It's the whole saying, you know, master of none, you know, great at, what's the saying? I want the saying in the book. Jack of all trades, master of none. It's the truth. But there is parts of this field, like digital media, where you have to kind of be a jack of all trades. Because it's more than just creating the video. What do you do with the video once it's done? How do you promote the video, you know? That's where it's like, okay, if I want this to be seen by the most amount of people, you know, if I just show this video at 2 o'clock, when the most viewership on my channel is this time, it doesn't make sense. That's where, you know, having a strategy and an understanding of where this, of how to promote your stuff is very important. And just staying up to date on all social media.
Yeah, do you find yourself chasing technology? Like, how fast does technology get outdated, and how long does it take to learn the new skill set for new technology?
So, prime example, live streaming. Live streaming is something that has grown over the past at least 3 years for me. You went, just like from the music we listen to, you have companies like Nugs.net premiering live streams everywhere. That never used to be a thing. So live streaming is huge because people want to see the event now. And it could be as micro, as small as, hey, I have 2 kids who play soccer in college and I want to see their game, but I live 500 miles away, I can't see their game. So companies do live streaming to be able to then, you know, broadcast these games for their kids. Or at a bigger level, if you want to watch a concert, a huge concert that probably costs $1,000 to get into, and there's 100,000 people there across the world, how do you watch it? You pay for a live stream. How has that affected my business? It forced me to have to learn how to do it. I started, last year with Mirth Films, we had no idea how to live stream, but we were like, okay, let's give this a shot here. Bought a simple setup, started doing live streaming, and we did horrible with it. We didn't understand it, you know? It just wasn't, I couldn't understand the timing of everything. I just didn't get it. And then over time of practice, like it was a learning curve, and I was forced to learn it because everybody else was doing it. And that means Okay, if I'm a business and and I want to offer this service, and I can, and like a competition is, I'm losing out on money. So it eventually forced us to learn it, and we ended up starting a podcast out of it called the Kind of Live, Kind of Living Podcast, which is a weekly podcast that we do every week. And we do it, like I said, we do it live on YouTube. And one of the guests that will be coming in, actually happened to be on it just recently. And but from doing the podcast, we're about 42 episodes in now. We ended up learning how to do live streaming for live events. So now I bring the same setup that I take. So we took that same concept and brought it into just the professional field, and now we offer live streaming at places, at local bars and venues here in Saratoga. I wouldn't say Schenectady yet, but we do it actively for money. But this is our platform, mirth-films.com. So we cover everything all across the Northeast. This concert was in Port Chester. We work with local musicians like Groove Stick to create music videos, and this is what keeps it fun for me. Mirth Films is just it's all fun. It's because when you're getting paid to create, it can get a little dull sometimes because you're making things for other people. You got to keep yourself very interested. And the way to do it is just like having your own passion project. So just make sure you're doing it for fun too, at least. But yeah, any other questions, guys? Or
Yeah, I never asked, but alright, so do you get paid like salary, or like how does like everything work? I mean, so it probably won't be salary because you own the business.
yeah.
Like how do you get paid, like how much do you get paid you?
So it depends. I'm not going to disclose how much I make, but I will say, starting out in the field, your first job out of school, you're gonna probably make $35,000 to $40,000 a year. But as time goes on, you could. This is where, unlike normal jobs, you could make a lot of money because let's say you become some famous YouTube star. You make $5 million a year. I'm not kidding. Like, seriously, could. What I make, I mean, I'll be straight up with you. Like, I'm able to be self-sufficient, not rely on anybody else. I pay my own bills, and I'm making as much as I would have been making working for someone else. Pluses of both. Pluses and minuses of both. Pluses of one. You get to, if you're working 9 to 5, you get weekends off. You get nights off. You get to relax, go home, and then, but like if you're running your own business, then it's like, yeah, there's a lot more stress with how much you're doing because the money coming in is the money that's paying your bills, and if you don't work, you're screwed. But like you get to call your own shots, and that's to me more valuable than an extra $1,000. But if you plan it right, eventually you could have your own employees working for you, and when you have other people working for you and you're working as a team, more money's going to come in. You're going to be doing bigger projects, and I can guarantee you you're going to be a lot more satisfied with what you're doing. Working with the team is one of the most important things in this field, and I just say that because you can't do it all yourself. So it's just, I don't know. Like we have at Mirth Films, we have somebody who's really good at writing articles. I hate writing articles. It's not what I do. I'm a videographer. So we have a person like that doing articles, but yeah, it's I mean, I would say you can make a comfortable living doing this stuff for sure. But yeah, let me just see what else. So, like I said, prime locations to do this. Like, yeah, it's great that we have this in Albany, but if you get an opportunity to go out and travel, I would go out to a bigger market than just Albany. you know, because you can always come back home. You know, this is just the stepping stone of where you can go next in your career, really. But other than that, does anybody else have any questions?
This isn't really like a question, this is more of a comment.
Yeah.
So about like moving to like let's say New York City or like Los Angeles, obviously like there's gonna be more like attention there because they have like a wider market, like you were saying.
Totally.
But it's also gonna be hard to maintain being out there because of all the competition. Plus, it might not be as easy to stay out there because of like living conditions or like rent and stuff like that.
Definitely, and that's all true. That's where having a plan before going down is super vital. You know, if you know a couple buddies or some friends or family that are living in the city, you know, take advantage of maybe sleeping on their couch a couple nights a week or something to get your foot in the door down there. Because maybe, let's say you end up getting a good opportunity down there, but it's a couple days a week, definitely not enough to cover your expenses. You know, go down there for the couple days a week. I've even like gone down to New York City for one day and come back home here. And like the reason why I haven't gone down and done that myself to like permanently live down there is because when you start a business up here, it's like you start everything that you work for up here, all your clients, everybody's up here. So by going down there, you know, you're really taking a huge risk by killing all the work that you did where you are back home. But I mean, with proper planning, I'm sure you could find a job down in New York City that would pay your bills and get you through. But definitely, like if that's a path you were considering, definitely spend like a year thinking about it, making sure that's exactly what you want to do. No, it's all right. But I mean, yeah, New York City is the biggest market in the world for video production. I mean, there's so many companies down there, and it's insane. It really is. But yeah, any other questions at all? Or if not, I mean, just. If this is something, like I said, if it's something you want to do, you guys have classes right here in your own building, TV, video production, and digital photography that you could both take advantage. They're both probably great classes to take, and even though photography is, you're just taking pictures compared to recording a video, being able to properly frame a shot is one of the most important things when it comes to doing video, making videos, and both of them go hand in hand. And a lot of people today, if you want to go to this link right here, Josh, this camera right here is something that a lot of professionals will end up using because not only is it an amazing photography camera, but the video quality in this camera is amazing as well. And so you'll see a lot of people doing two jobs at once. Like there's some nights where I'll shoot photo and video. So I'll have a video done at night, and then I'll also have a batch of photos for the band to share. And that is becoming more and more prominent because the cost to be able to pay both people is separately is expensive, and it's just becoming more of a, I don't know, with video becoming huger, more people are wanting video than photo, you know? But I mean, like I said, you don't need to buy a camera like this to get started. This is just something I use myself and I love to use. This is just trying to think what else I can check out here. I mean, another thing I do a lot of is I do a lot of drone photography, a lot of drone videos, and which is a lot of fun too. If you want to head over to photo, there's like just aerials. They're just pictures. Actually, you know what? Let's check out. Go back to F.Cavone Productions quick, and then head to this YouTube button. I'm pointing at like you're seeing what I'm pointing at.
Gosh.
This is just when I was out in California recently. This is just some of, just like for fun. I like to just, I don't know, it's a lot of fun to do this video stuff, but this is just like.
Oh, which music is this?
Oh, you know, good old Formula 5. Yeah, so this is just a compilation of footage I shot while I was out in San Francisco and traveling up the coast of California. But drone photography and drone video is huge right now. There's a lot of money in it. It's important to be licensed in it because if that thing drops out of the sky and hits somebody, you're screwed. But that has not yet happened to me. I have lost a couple drones. One in the waterfall and one in Lake George. The one in the waterfall had completely no idea what I was doing. I never flew a drone before. And I just bought this thing. I flew it a couple times. And yeah, it just, I wasn't paying attention and I just zipped the drone right into this waterfall of 30-degree water. Had to go in like mid-spring, like going like dragging this drone out of the water. But then I also, sometimes drones have malfunctions, and I sunk another drone this past year, but it's okay. But it's a lot of fun though, just because it's like you're controlling this thing that's in the sky that takes pictures, good quality pictures and video. And it's pretty cheap too. You could buy a drone now for about $400, and that's a decent drone.
How much were they when they first came out?
When they first came out, probably at least $3,000 for the starting drone, but now it's just become such a more consumer thing.
How much were they when they first came out?
I think $2,500 to $3,000 starting price.
Yeah, so think about like $2,500 to $3,000 and now they're $400. That's a huge cut from when they came out. And now there's probably so many manufacturers that they can sell them that cheap.
Exactly, and that's where like a lot of people want. A lot of people want to end up, I guess, just, I don't know how to describe it. They just want to, they want to have every part of the video production process in their video. So that's something you also have to learn. And I had to learn it because just like live streaming, if I didn't learn drone photography, the next guy would have got that money and probably been my client.
Can we do the commercial spot showing like?
Yeah, check it out.
So, another thing, be hired by Lake George.
Lake George, New York. Join us June 19th through the 21st, 2020. Over 20 musical acts on 2 main stages for non-stop entertainment. Think of it as a truck rockin' Mardi Gras. A party with a purpose event. Fins Up LG will be donating $10 from every ticket to St. Jude's Children's Hospital. For full details, visit finsuplg.com.
So I don't know who asked the question about are you only editing sometimes? With that video, I did actually get footage delivered to me to have to put together because I wasn't going to, South Florida to go, party my brains out and record a Parahead festival. It's cheaper if somebody sends the footage. So that's where having, from the guy who was doing the voiceover, that guy is actually from Houston, Texas, did the voiceover remotely, sent it to us, and so there was probably like 5 hands in that pot making that video. I just assembled it. That's all.
I've been trying to get Steve Murray in here. He came in last year, and Steve does voiceovers in the area. Yeah.
It's a real skill to have a solid clean voice like that.
Yeah.